Hi, my name is Rick Gualtieri, and this is another Tales of a Midlist Author. For the last several installments, I've been talking about putting out a quality product, putting out the best product you can put out. So what I wanted to do now was discuss what I actually mean by that, since I realize that can be kind of like nebulous to some folks. What it means is putting out a professional grade product. So that means putting out the best story you can write. Obviously that's entirely on you. But it also means making sure it's properly edited, it's properly formatted, and it has an eye-catching cover, one that that stands out well compared to the other members of your genre. Now, one question is, so how do you get there? Well, some people, they take the whole self-publishing thing to mean self, as in do everything themselves. The problem there is there are a few people who can. There are some people out there, they have the talent to write the story. They have the patience to edit it properly themselves. They have the technical know-how to format, and they have the graphical prowess to actually create some kick-ass covers. That being said, I find those people to be few and far between. Much more common are the folks who say, I do everything myself. This didn't cost a dime. And, and I'm very proud of my work. And that's great that they're proud, but then you look at their work and you're like, maybe not. I've seen that happen, especially with covers. People will will slap together something like real quick and in GIMP or some other program. Maybe they'll grab a stock photo and just throw a generic font on there or so. And honestly, in most cases, a great cover that does not make. It's the same with editing and formatting and such. What it really comes down to is know your limits. When I started out, I did everything myself, and honestly, it was a mistake. I have the technical know how to format. I still do my own formatting, and I think it's pretty decent. That being said, it's still a learning game. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to make my products that much better. The writing, hopefully I'm pretty decent at. But something, I'm not particularly good at self-editing. And when it comes to covers, I'm a Photoshop hack, but that doesn't mean I'm good at it. And it took me a little bit of time to realize that. And I think my book suffered as a result. And I've been playing catch up ever since. But at this point, I've reached that point where I'm like, something? With regards to editing, I hire out. With regards to editing, you want to pay attention to really kind of three things: the story, the story, the pacing, the characters, all that stuff. But then you want to look at obviously typos and spelling and such. And then there's grammar. Too many people hear editing, they think, okay, let me run it through spell checker. It's fine. It's not fine. Microsoft Word, its spell checker is fine. Its grammar checker is pretty atrocious. That really does not make a good editing. So those things you want to look into. Now, how do you compensate for that? Well, go out there, ask for references, go out to the various boards, get free sample edits, find somebody who who has some really good works underneath their belt, and see if you can get a quote, or if you can possibly trade off services. One thing about editing, especially proofreading, is it's kind of difficult to do it for yourself, but it's much easier to do it for somebody else's story that you've never read before, because you haven't trained your brain to ignore stupid mistakes like missing to's or thes. As far as formatting goes, you can teach yourself decent formatting, or you can hire out. As for knowing what is good formatting, the tricks and the rules, there are plenty of forums out there that will explain it. There are plenty of tutorials. Best though is you have the best tutorial of all right at your fingertips. Grab a paperback book. Buy yourself a Kindle. Mind you, if you're selling online and you don't have a Kindle, or you don't have a way to view Kindle books, you really need to get one. You should see what you're putting out there before you put it out. But that's the thing. When you're formatting, take a look at how your stuff stacks up to a professional grade product. How does it look? How does it match? If you're sitting there staring at it and you realize something's off, well, guess what? People will realize something's off as well. You want to put something out there that where people lose themselves in the story. They don't worry about the fact that, okay, your font sizes change all the time. Your paragraph breaks are different all over the place. So you want to get a handle on that. Whatever program you're using, whether it's Word, Scrivener, Adobe InDesign, learn how to use it. Take some tutorials, take some classes if you can. It's very important, this stuff. As far as cover, I've worked with graphic designers for my entire career, and as I said, I'm a Photoshop hack. I'm actually, give me some stuff, I can mess with it pretty well in there. But I also know enough to know that when it comes down to creating professional grade images, iconography, fonts, and such, I'm not even close to being at the level of a lot of these people. So that's why you want a professional, because they can take what you can maybe do adequately and do it wonderfully, and that's really a great difference to have. And then finally, there's the uploading of your book and such. It doesn't require typically a lot of skill, but it is something you should you should learn how to do. You should practice. You should always preview your stuff in as many devices as you can before you put it up there. Check it out against against big sellers, against classics, all of that stuff, because the ultimate goal is you want to have a product that you can put online, whether it's in print, audiobook, ebook, what have you, that if you saw it at Barnes and Noble, wouldn't look out of place. Now, just one last thing on there. In certain genres, that's pretty much that's your entry fee. That brings you up to parity with with folks. There's a few other genres where people will say, well, editing is not that important. I've heard more than one person say, well, some of the best sellers in YA are horribly edited. I don't know if that's true or not, but here's the thing: if it is true, then by you putting out a superior product, that gives you a leg up. And it's never a bad thing to put out a product that's better than the competition. So keep that in mind. If you're looking, going, well, everybody's saying nobody cares about editing in this genre, so hey, let's just throw it out there. Professional product. Once again, if you have a book, take a look at it and say, would this look out of place on the shelf of a library, on the shelf of Barnes and Noble, any place you might purchase it? If the answer is yes, you probably still need some work. If you can honestly say, yes, it belongs there, and your friends will agree, it's not a bad place to be. And once again, that's what it's all about. Taking this business seriously and putting out the absolute best product you can, and always learning, because the best product you put out today might not hold a candle to the best product you can put out tomorrow. So it's a constant learning curve. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this episode. Once again, I am Rick Gualtieri, and this is Tales of a Midlist Author. Can't wait to speak to you next time.